Good evening and welcome to the Arundel Clamor Club virtual live stream for Thursday, March 17th, 2022. My name is John Milliker and I'm the club president for the 2021-2022 season. The Arundel Clamor Club was founded in 1957 and exists to promote the arts, science, and education in all aspects and fields of photography. For more information about us, please visit www.arundelcamera.club.org. Thank you for joining us on our virtual live stream. With the help of members and our officers, we made the tough decision to stay virtual until the end of our club year, and we're hoping to start back up hybrid in September. And before tonight's contest, here is our programs chair, Christine Milliker, with the upcoming schedule.
Good evening. Tonight is our digital open contest, which we will be starting momentarily. On March 24th is a program by Joseph de Pasquale on the Hubble telescope. On March 26th is our field trip to Washington, D.C. to see the cherry blossoms. On March 31st, we have a program on alternative photography by Quinn Jacobson on the colloidal albumin negatives in gum over palladium prints.
Should I bump in here real quick, Christine, and kind of explain a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Quinn Jacobson, he gave us an amazing program. Was it this year or last year?
I think it was 2 years ago, but
I think
I'm
it
not
was
sure.
last year or 2 years ago. And he works in a lot of the alternative and chemical processes like Christine and I do. But his view on photography and his philosophy on photography is something that you definitely shouldn't miss. So make sure you join us for that program. Go ahead, Christine.
And his enthusiasm definitely comes out whenever he speaks. And then on April 7th is a club photo critique on the submissions that were entered to the digital contest tonight, talked about by members of our club. And that's the schedule for right now.
Excellent. I want to thank everybody for joining us on our Photoshop, program last week. That was very well received. And if that's something you want to continue to do, make sure to send an email to Christine and Ron and let them know what you thought about it. And maybe we'll do another one. Probably, I think we're good for the rest of the year. But if we run into anything that any cancellations, we'll probably bring that back. That was a lot of fun. And let's turn it over to Ron Pfeiffer, our contest chair, to introduce tonight's judge.
Judges this year have been from Colorado, and like a lot of the Colorado judges we have, she also has a Maryland connection. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that. I'd like to welcome her. I know her because she is a MPA certified judge, but she's also a Part 107 certified commercial drone pilot. She is very well known in her area as well as her, not necessarily solely because of the photography, but because she's a hiker. And that got my interest when I actually looked at her bio for the first time, realizing that she had done one of my all-time bucket list dreams, and that was in 2017. She hiked the entire length of the Appalachian Trail with her Danish-Swedish farm dog, Leaf, who was with her for the entire trip. And then in 2019, along with her teenage daughter, she traversed the Camino Frances. And hiking is a very important part of her life. And if you're into hiking enough, I think there's not much explanation about that's necessary. Now, Mary J. got to Maryland initially by way of Michigan, where she was born, moved to D.C. area to pursue a career in finance and an MBA, and continued to explore and make photos wherever she could. I have to tell you, I went to her website and have gone back several times looking at the collection of photographs. And for a professional photographer, you'll expect really good portrait photography and so on, but you also see some surprises in there. So not to keep that a secret, but you get a chance, go to her website, and you kind of see some of the really interesting things that she's been doing. So we got all these certifications. She is an MPA certified judge. Mary, do you have anything else that I didn't say that you'd like to start off?
Well, thank you for inviting me to judge for your club. I just wanted to give a brief summary of, how I approach judging. I think photography and photographs are really about the story that's being told in the image. And so I look first for a story in the image. And of course, the technical lighting, everything follows that and adds to the story. So you'll hear me talk a lot tonight about what story is being told in each of the photos. So that's about it. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's a great approach to it. I think that you're dead on to get started.
Ron, can I break in here? Mary, can you give us your website so that I can put that in chat?
Yes, it's www.mjplocki.com.
Perfect. I'm going to put that in chat. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Mary, I want to make sure that we're on target. So you have the images all up on your computer. We have them on ours. We're broadcasting out to Facebook Live. So the members of our club are watching it from there. It'll be recorded, and you can go back and look at it again later if you like. I'll send you a link, and so you can take a look at that. And we'll also put it up on YouTube later if you're okay with that. For follow-up. Okay. And John is going to help us since he has the images from his location. We'll put them up, and then we'll kind of go through them as we go. John, we're going to look at novice photography first. We have 18 images. That's going to give us prizes 1 through 4. And with 18, let's see, that would be 10% of 18 would be 2, so 1 through 4 plus 2 honorable mentions. You want to confirm that, John? Make sure I'm on target?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Excellent. Mary, are you ready to go with this?
I am.
Okay. Our first thing we'll do is go through each of the images and give a few seconds on each one. John will rotate us through that, and then we'll go back and do the comment phrase. So, John, let's go with the first pass through. Number 1 is black and white. Okay, number 2 is Maine morning. Number 3 is prisoner. Number 4 is kids swinging. Number 5, contemplation. Number 6, in search of Noahs. Number 7, Yellowstone. Number 8, Senorita. Number 9, super selfie. Number 10, duck conductor. Number 11, hunger. Number 12, lady in white. Number 13, at the fairground. Number 14, dunes. Number 15, best seafood takeout in Maryland. Number 16, conic selections. Number 17, running red fox. Number 18, Seattle glass. Okay. All right, we'll go back to second round. And Mary, let's look at the image number 1. You can give us some comments and then tell us whether it's in or out, and we'll go on through from there.
Okay, so with this image, you'll see I'll talk about where my eye goes to first in an image, and I feel like that's the center of interest for the image. And with this one, it's definitely the center bottle. The rim light on it is beautiful. The lighting in this image, I just really like. I think it's really well done. It is so bright that my eye goes right to that center bottle, and then it goes to these little rings on the other 2 bottle necks. And I find those really interesting too. And I'm thinking to myself, what's making those little rings? And I wish that with this image that there would be some rim light also on the other 2 bottles. And I did want to say that I really like the depth of field, how it's used. The center image is really sharp, and the other 2 are softer, which helps bring that focus to that center bottleneck. I did have a couple of things. One is I'm not really sure, other than getting beautiful light on here, what the story is of these 3 bottles. And I'm very distracted about all the little dots on that center bottle. Like, it looks like the bottle is dusty. Maybe it's full and those are carbonation bubbles. I don't know, but it sort of just looks like a dirtiness on the bottle. And you have to really be careful with doing glass to get rid of every speck of dust and smudge that is on there. Otherwise, obviously, you see the light picks everything up. So I think I know that it's really challenging to get rim light on bottles like this. So you did a good job on that. But because of the dust and the lack of story, I'm going to, do I say in or out this time?
Yes,
Yeah, I'll put this one out.
Okay, number 1 is out. Our number 2 image, main morning.
And I forgot, is there a second round to narrow it down?
Yes,
no?
You do what you can this time, and we'll work through the last round.
Okay. With this image, I did hike the Appalachian Trail, which does end in Maine, and the Maine Lakes. It was actually one of my favorite parts of the whole trail. So this does resonate with me. The artist captured the early fall just beautifully with the color changing leaves and the reflection. I can see myself, which is important in an image. Can the viewer see themselves in this image, and how does that make them feel? And I can see myself relaxing in the chairs, or I can see myself walking on the lake shore, and walking into the woods over to the dock, and walking out on the dock and looking. I could maybe even see myself swimming way out in the lake. So this really is an image that places a person in the spot, and that really tells a great story. I feel like, I don't know if this is my monitor and the file transfer, but I feel like the image is soft, maybe the sharpest thing is the arm of that chair, but the dock, which I really like the dock, but it's sort of blending in to the rest of the scene, and looks like maybe the exposure was a little longer because some of the leaves look like they moved, or the dock looked like it moved a little. So I find that a little bit distracting. The other thing is, and I know that a lot of people, a lot of artists, when they take an image like this in a landscape, they don't want to change it because it's how it was. But some things are distracting, and as an artist, we can decide what to take out of a photograph, where like a painter decides what to put in. A photographer can decide what to take out. And in this case, there's a tree that's really bright white that's causing like angles that are pointing out of the picture. And I might, if I had the ability to edit those darker or edit it out altogether, that tree and its reflection, because I find that pretty distracting. But I because of those, I just want to put this in as in right now.
Okay. All right. Number 2 is in. Image number 3. Prisoner.
This image really made me a little bit sad, because so that's a good thing, because an image is really supposed to make a person, the viewer, feel something. And it's oftentimes maybe not what the artist felt it's what they should feel or intended, but every viewer brings their own history to the image they're viewing. And not that I bring my own history here, because this apparent is the style of dress and everything, an older time, but I do bring the look on this gentleman's face on the inside of this room. He just looks sort of tired and dejected, and with the guard outside. And the title of the image helps a lot when the viewer is thinking about the image, because we might look towards the image and look towards the title to see what, get some guidance from the artist of what they were trying to represent. And I think the artist did a great job here in making the interior, representing that as sort of dark and with only the window light, and sort of sad situation where it's bright and happy outside with bright colors. And I think the two opposite positions next to each other really help tell the story, in this case about the prisoner inside. So I think that saying the lighting here is just done beautifully, and the historical recreation is well done, and the artist captured a moment which really makes the viewer feel. So this one's in.
Okay, number 3 is in. Number 4, kids swinging.
Of course, this warms my heart when I see it. The impact is, wow, I remember being at swing, and I love that the artist captured the kids both looking in the same direction, and it tells a story of there must be something over there that's caught their eye, even though they're having so much fun on the swing. So it makes me wonder, hey, what that is. I like the way the artist framed the kids with the swing set poles, and that we could see out over the water and how close the swing set appears to be to the water. So all of those are really interesting compositional elements. I'm a little bit confused about the lighting, because the sky is sort of a darker lighting, yet the grass and the water are shot like midday in sort of the haze in the background. So I'm not sure that the colors correspond with each other in this case, and its impact in the story it tells about time of day. Two things technically is I feel I like this sort of half silhouette, yet their backs are very, very, a little bit too dark, and it looks like almost there's a hole in the picture, like they're cut out. So maybe bring up a little bit of the detail in those shadows just to stop that, like that hole there. And then this is, I think, the biggest technical issue is that I'm seeing banding in the sky. And I think without the banding in the sky, I might have kept this in, but there's so much banding in the sky. Does everyone know it? Would they know what banding is?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That I think this one has to be out.
Okay. All right. Number 4 is out. Number 5 is contemplation.
So I go immediately I go right to this gentleman's face and this worker's face. And, you know, he looks tired and like he's resting in the middle of the day. It obviously working hard and taking a break. I think that because of the shed and the state of the shed he's sitting in and the equipment behind him. From a technical standpoint, I would like to see some use of depth of field here where everything is sharp, but it's not really necessary that everything is sharp. Mostly it's important that his face to hand is sharp. And then I think that it would add a lot of depth, sort of a background, middle ground, if depth of field was softened as you go back in the image. I don't need to see that there's a cable or something running down in the back, and I don't need to see the details of the way they are. Also, I would like to see that anything where there's reading involved, it I think distracts from the main subject unless the reading is the main subject. And like this box that's next to him has words on it. And I found myself trying to see what that box included. So if there's a way just to blur out words and things so that it's not as distracting to the overall image, unless it adds to the story, that would be meant. And I don't think that this adds to the story because they're upside down and it's cut off, and which brings me to my next comment. I would also like to see that his hands not be cut off. Like, we don't want to cut off wrists and hands. So really watch the edges of the image. The same goes for like down below. Like, I would like to know like where the shed is. It would help give context. But a little amount of grass or whatever below doesn't tell me a lot, but it is a little bit distracting because it's brighter on the lower right side. So maybe shade that in a little bit so it's not as distracting, because really he's the subject. His face and his contemplation is the subject. So that one is, let's leave it in for now because it's such a space. We'll leave it in for now.
Okay. Number 5 is in. Number 6 is In Search of Noah's Ark.
I love the title. When I looked at this, I said, well, it seems more like a documentary picture, and I wonder what the artist titled this. And when I saw In Search for Noah's Ark, I looked at this barge or boat. I'm not a boat person, so I may not use the right terms, but I looked at it in a whole new way. And I could envision like the animals running around in there before it became derelict. That being said, I think the barge is a really interesting subject that deserves more exploration on how to photograph it. The image has the foreground of this white, looks like a rowboat with the blue line, and the rowboat is pointing towards the background boat, but because it's such a bright foreground boat, and the blue line leaves, like I look towards the bow of the boat, and then I follow that blue line back and out of the picture. So I think the leading lines here are not doing what the artist wanted them to do. It's not leading your eye enough towards the background, the boat in the background, across this middle ground of grass and water. It's not a strong enough leading line to make that work. And I think the subject's so big that I can see why it was put in the background, but it's also dark. It's like the darkest thing in the image. So our eyes really aren't staying on that. They're constantly going back to this white boat. So I think that studying, I don't think this is going anywhere. So you could go back and reshoot it in a different way, and it would be worth doing. It's a really interesting subject, but it's out for this one.
Okay. Number 6 is out. Number 7 is Yellowstone Tree.
Honestly, what I'm attracted to the most in this image, the story the most, is that background with how steep the mountain is and the beautiful trees in the background. And the problem I have here, because I really love the tree that's supposed to be the main focus, is it sort of blends into the background, and it's visually difficult to delineate what's the tree versus what is the background. It just sort of blends in. So maybe when you're doing your editing, use some editing techniques like saturation and brightness to bring out the distinction in the lines that are the stump and branch versus the really bright white of the background. The other thing I would recommend, again, is really watching the edges, because this beautiful shape of this tree is cut off up in the corner. And I feel like it's just about to end, but I didn't get to see the end of it. And maybe I do a lot of hiking, and I know that I come across something like this, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I want to photograph this. It's beautiful, but it's midday, right? And the lighting is harsh or what have you. So if you know where this is and you can go back and rephotograph it or something like it in the morning or in the evening when the lighting is a little bit better, it also might help with that, delineating that your subject from the background. So this one is out.
Okay, number 7 is out. Number 8, Senorita.
My heart just goes out to this little girl. Her eyes are just so captivating. And when we talk about photographing portraits, we say the eyes really have to be tack sharp. And sometimes I disagree with that. In this case, I would disagree with that. But they do need to be the sharpest thing in the image, and they are in this image. And you can just see her sort of innocence and a little bit of sadness in her eyes. And, I just want to go give this little girl a hug. The depth of field used is just really good for this image. Her eyes are sharp, and as you go further back, it's less sharp, and that helps take the distracting elements in the background become less distracting when they're blurred as they are here. like her hand is a little blurred, but that's okay because this is really about this little girl's face. The lighting, really pretty. I think it's really well done, especially, for a novice competition. So this one's in.
Okay. Number 8 is in. Number 9, super selfie.
Oh, I love this image. There's so much going on here. I at first I looked at it and I'm like, that's really gritty, and maybe they over sharpened it a little bit. But I think the treatment works really well with the black and white and the cobblestone or whatever kind of stone that is on the streets, and just sort of the activity going on. I love that the person taking the selfie is smiling and having a good time, but the other person in the double selfie looks a little bit stressed. Like, do I look just right? And I personally can identify with that. I'm a photographer. I just don't like having my photo taken. So, so they are definitely interacting. And what really sells this image to me is the person in the background watching them take a selfie. Because that's so, even though this, doesn't necessarily look like, because it's black and white and their costumes, it's, you don't think that this could be any time. It could have been before the time of selfies. But I think it just shows a whole scene with the people in the background. You've really got a lot going in the background. You've got the woman in the middle ground, and you've got these two characters who look so different in their emotional state in the foreground. And so I feel like this really tells a very strong story and tells it very well. So this one is in.
Okay. Number 9 is in. Number 10 is duck conductor.
This conductor makes me smile. This duck looks so happy and has bright colors, and the detail is fairly sharp. And you just caught this duck at a moment, which is great, because it's normally you see the ducks just floating there on the water, and this one is actually like it has its own personality. So that works for me. This is a case, though, where, again, the artist has a choice of taking some things out of the photo or changing some of the coloring. The background of the water just doesn't do it for me. It's very gray and depressing looking. If possible, try and work with that so that the colors go well with the duck. Also, the duck has a lot of spots on its feathers on the green. And it could be that it splashed water up, but it just sort of looks to me like dust specks or something. And so in this case, it would be worthwhile going in and editing out those all those little specks, because they're very distracting. So this one is in for now, just because of the story it tells with the duck.
Okay. Number 11 is hunger.
I had to let my dog out. He was going crazy. This really captured my attention when I saw it. I'm like, I just did a double and triple take on this. My eyes are drawn directly to the background. In contrast to the one with the big arc in the background, where my eyes weren't drawn back to that. This one works because people, when they view an image, are automatically drawn to eyes. And her eyes are pretty large in the composition and the angle of her face, and the expression on her face really draws a person through the hallway. and out towards that image. I like the crop because I think the lines of the lamps and the lines of the walls really support, the fact that you're seeing just a narrow sliver of this woman. The color toning all works really well together. Just to really make a cohesive image. And I like that there's an unusual crop. People really tend to stick towards, a crop and make their image fit into that crop. And I like that this artist was bold enough to make the crop fit their image, even though it's not a standard crop. So this one's in.
Okay, number 11 is in, Hunger. Number 12, Lady in White. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Lady in White Hat.
Lady in White Hat. Okay. Yeah. Definitely the white hat draws your attention. The two white lights, the white hat, just make me want to walk out on that dock and see what's going on. What is this woman looking for? And just sort of relax, looking over the open sea. I like that it does give that sort of sense of being at the shore and being on a dock. The image is almost symmetrical, which throws me off a little bit because it feels like it was meant to be symmetrical, but the artist didn't quite get there. So I think if we're going to go for something that's symmetrical, it needs to be symmetrical, or it needs to be enough not symmetrical that we don't think that it was supposed to be, right? So that there was pure intention in it not being symmetrical. I also feel like there should be like a primary subject of an image, and to tell a real story. And this case, the subject, I think, is the woman in the white hat, yet she's so tiny compared to the dock that the amount of dock that's there is competing with the woman in the white hat in the story. I just wonder if the image would be stronger and the story would be stronger about the woman and her contemplating and her fishing kind of thing. If we didn't see almost 40% of the image is stock and 50% is the sky, and the subject is only like 10% of the image. So I think I like the image, but I think there are other images that are better in this competition. So this will be out.
Okay, number 12 is out. Number 13, At the Fairgrounds.
The lighting in this image is amazing. The softness of the shadows, and we get these beautiful curves on the lower left, and then the sharp right angle on the lower right with beautiful curves around it. And the shading from bright to shadow is done so well. I think that it's worth redoing this kind of thing, and this artist clearly has the lighting down. There are technical things about the image, though, that bother me. And one is, if you see where the three eggs come together, there's something there, some dirty spots that's really distracting. And that might have actually been a dirty spot on the egg. But again, we don't have to show exactly how it was. We need to take that out because the beautiful softness that's being told by the story of this photo is really taken away from by this dirty spot at the triangle, which is where you could look because those three eggs come together. And the other comment I would like to make is really watch your edges when you're doing the photos. And I don't know if this was shot wider and purposely cropped this way, or this was shot close up like this. But having this egg or ball like so on the upper right side be cut off so much, I found that really distracting. I'd like to see all of those eggs. I think that would be very interesting. And then as you follow around the side, there's this just really bright triangle on the lower edge that is also distracting, and that's something you can edit out fairly easily in Lightroom. And also the distracting pink corner on the upper left side. So just watch those kind of things when you're doing your editing. I think that the dirty spot in the triangle in the center makes me put ouch.
Okay. All right. So number 13 is out. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Number 14, dunes.
Dunes. The color toning on this is just beautiful. And I don't know if it was Mother Nature or the editor, but all the tones go really well together. When I first looked at it, I'm like, it's just two different pictures merged together. I was really like studying it, trying to figure out what's going on with this picture. And that is what you want when you have a story. You want someone to look at it and stay with it for a long time, right? The longer you can keep a person's eyes in your image, the better. And this studying the edge of the sand and seeing how the sand is falling down in the foreground, but in the middle ground, it's not doing that. And they've got sharpness all the way through the foreground and the middle ground. And it really shows just the soft curves of the sand in the middle ground and contrast with what's going down in the lower picture. And then the softness of a background. So it has the foreground, middle ground, background, which is important to tell a story. And the softness is enough that you can see that they're mountains and they're not sandy. And the blue and the tan just sort of complement each other really well. I really like this image. The detail it captures is done well. The artist chose a effective depth of field to tell their story. If I had one recommendation, is to pick keeping the sky in or keeping it out, as opposed to having that one little bit. But I think it's really minor, and I would like to keep this one in.
Okay, number 14 is in. Number 15, best seafood takeout in Maryland.
Mm-hmm. This artist really captured the eagle in a beautiful pose. And I'm sure it took a lot of time and energy to get this exact wingspan and the fish in. I think there's a fish in the claws. And the look of determination on the eagle's beak, and you can see how sharp that beak is. And all that's done really well. And you'll see later, like when I see wildlife, and I might include that instead of exclude it from the context. And here would be why, is that for this, I feel like the cropping, like the artist wanted to show the context. But I think that the fact that in the background there's a rock that's even bigger than the bird, and I don't think it's adding value to the story of this bird, that there's this big rock in the background and sort of distracts from the bird. Also, I feel like maybe while the tail feathers are overexposed and we've lost a lot of detail, the head of the bird is underexposed. So there needs to be some work with the lighting on this animal going forward, and to help correct, make that animal stand out from the background a little bit more. So this one is out.
Okay, number 15 is out. Number 16, conic selections.
I studied this for quite a while, trying to make sense of it, because it looks to me like two images in one. And I found that just very distracting and confusing. And I think the conic part is really interesting. But the tips of the cones are cut off, which, for me, I'm like, well, I want to see the cones. This is about the cones, and I want to see the cones. So I applaud the artist for seeing these patterns somewhere. I think they're unusual. But I'm not sure how the top of the image with the cones cut off really relates to whatever this is. These overexposed bits on the bottom, which lights are moving or something. I'm not sure. So I think this one is out.
Okay, number 16 is out. Number 17 is running red fox.
I like this. Of course, the color of this fox is just beautiful. And the fact that it's running and you can see the snow and its fur sort of flying back and the snow being kicked up behind him, all really well done. The detail of the trees at the edges, I've been talking a lot about watch the edges. In this case, they add to the image because they balance the darkness of the fox against the white, and they give a little bit of context because they're trees in the woods. I like that the crop of the fox, in that there's a little bit more space towards in front of his face in the direction he's running, but yet the fox takes up like probably close to more than half the image, especially because of his long tail. So I would just recommend that the snow looks a little warm. But I do like the fact that you see the detail in the snow. So that was done really well, which is hard to do when you're shooting against snow. So this one's in.
Okay, number 17 is in. Number 18 is our last image, Seattle glass.
I was looking at this image, and when I look at it, I see like tree trunks and leaves, and maybe a little motion in the camera to make it look a little bit Monet-ish or surreal looking. We have the really bright leaves up in the left-hand corner, upper corner, which is, my eyes are drawn to the red of the trunks and then to the bright leaves, and then there's sort of a sunlit on the lower right, which attempts to balance some of that. I think the creativity is here. I don't understand how it relates to Seattle glass, so I don't understand how the title and the photo go together. So as just an average viewer might not, if there's a connection, might not know what it is. So maybe a different title would help. I also feel like this black area, like right in the center of the image, sort of the center up and down, but to the right, side to side, is a little bit distracting. Like it breaks up the pattern of the tree. And so I find that a little bit distracting as well. So when I think about a story for this image, I'm just not getting it. So this image is out.
Okay, number 18 is out. John, you can help me with this. I want to count. Right now, I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are left in. Is that correct for your count?
I'm working on it now. Let me make sure. Yes, 9.
Okay. Mary, you can. We can put them all 9 up for you to take a look at one time,
Okay,
if that would help.
I think it's okay. I can see them. And so what I'm looking for when I do this final cut is the overall impact and story of the image.
Right.
So how do you want me to say what stays in, or do you want me to go with what goes out?
Whatever is you're most comfortable with. If you would like to throw out and then deal with the last, that's fine. Go the other way, that's okay too. If you already know what first,
Okay.
second, third, and fourth are, for example.
Yeah. So let's take number 05, contemplation, out.
Okay.
And let's take number 2, main morning, out.
Okay. Number 2 is out.
And then let's take the sad duck conductor, out.
Okay, that's number 10, correct?
That is number 10.
Okay.
And so am I giving then first through fourth place and then 2
honorable mentions, yes.
Then, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for the honorable mentions will be the number 17, running fox.
Okay. Number 17.
And number 8, senorita.
Okay.
Okay. And then first place will be hunger, number 11. And then second place will be super selfie, number 9.
Okay.
Third place will be number 3, prisoner.
Okay.
And fourth place will be number 14, doom.
Okay. All right. Let's see who the artists were then. So congratulations to our winners. Honorable mention to number 17, Running Red Fox, and that would be Clarence Carvel. Our other honorable mention, number 8, Senorita, that would be Kathy Steele. Fourth place winner is Dunes, and that's Clarence Carvel. Third place winner is Prisoner, that's Clarence Carvel. Second place is number 9, Super Selfie, Debbie Wolf. And first place is Hunger, John Verdi. Congratulations to the winner. Okay. Well, Kathy, thank you. I'm sorry. I got Kathy Steele in my mind. I'm trying to flip my page over and look at our 39 submissions for the Unlimiteds. And so for 39, we're going to have 4 honorable mentions and 1 through 4. So that means we have to come up with, John, does that work with your math too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And Mary, if you feel that you can, we spent about a little less than 1 hour on the first 18 images. So we have just a little bit more than double that. So if you don't feel you need to talk all the way through on every one, feel free. But you talk as much as you want to. We want you to feel comfortable in your decisions. So let's go through I'm sorry?
I'll work it going a little faster.
Okay. Not to worry.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's go through the 39 images. And number 1 is Arisen. Number 2, Sittin' Pretty. Number 3, Spring Crocuses. Number 4, Twins. Number 5, Ilocala Falls. Number 6, Artistic Mailbox. Number 7, Justice. Number 8, Heron Reflection. Number 9, One Talon Eagle. Number 10, Stitching Spider. Number 11, Caden Memorial. Number 12, Road to Heaven. Number 13, Reaching to the Moon. Number 14, Friendship Rose. Number 15, Nectar Lover. Number 16, Wasteland. Number 17, Miss Mel. Number 18, Thatched Roof. Number 19, Thunderhead. Number 20, Rose and Mist. Number 21, Cardinal Contemplating. Number 22, Scrum. Number 23, Far Horizons. Number 24, Twist. Number 25, Hats. Number 26, Lighted Rigging. Number 27, The Face of Antiquity. Number 28, Alligator Rock, Patapsco River. Number 29, Split. Number 30, Those Looking at Who. Number 31, Walking into the Light. Number 32, Sandcastle. Number 33, Looking. Number 34, Church in the Woods. Number 35, Foggy Morning at the Pier. Number 36, Safe Landing. Number 38, Evolution. I'm sorry. Number 37 is Evolution of Civilization. Number 38, Steamtown. And number 39 is Bridges. Okay, that's all 39. And John, we'll start.
Sorry, I can't call an MMI or USSD number.
Hang on.
Who would you like to call?
My watch is talking to me. My apologies. I must have hit the wrong button. Okay. Mary, let's start off at number 1, Arisen.
Okay. The lotus flowers are known for being like beautiful and bright, even though they grow out of like muddy water, and really luminescent. I think this one missed that mark on the luminescence. And so as a portrait of a flower, also like in the background, I can see weird displays of, or like the person just darkened the background to sort of hide it, and it can be better done. So this one's out.
Okay, number 1 is out.
Number
2, Sitting Pretty.
Right. It's a portrait of a pelican, but the angle of the bird makes him look really like a boat. And you can see his eye and his feathers, and the detail, the depth of field is done well. So this one's in.
Okay, number 2 is in. Number 3, Spring Crocuses.
The color captured in the purple and the orange is really beautiful. As far as telling a story, I'm not really sure like what the subject is. Is the subject the bunch of flowers together? Is it that they came up in the spring and there's still snow around? I don't actually see that. I can't really tell. It looks like maybe this main flower is the subject. 'Cause it's sharpest and it shows. I think that given the sort of confusing story on this one, that this will be out.
Okay. Number 3 is out. Number 4 is Twins.
These look really interesting ducks, and I love the blue that has been captured in the water, and it sort of gives lines around the ducks. I think that there's an awful lot of just empty space in this image, and I would love to see the ducks interacting in some way rather than just posed there, especially for an advanced composition. So this will be out.
Okay, number 4 is out. 5, Ellicala Falls.
I love the creativity of the long exposure that was captured with this image, and it shows definite effort by the artist. It's a really busy image otherwise, and I think that it appears to me that it's sort of slanted, like the horizon line is a little bit off, and I'm getting that from how the water is falling down over the waterfall. We also have a little bit of blown out spots. that happen when you have long exposure. So we really need to be careful of that and maybe use your filters to stop that from happening. So that one's out.
Okay, number 5 is out. Number 6 is artistic mailbox.
I like the colors and sort of the interest put in this, and I like that it has this artistic look to it that was apparently approved by the Postmaster General. So I think there's a good sense of humor in this image. Let's leave this image for now.
I'm sorry, you said that's in?
Leave it in for now.
Okay, thank you. Number 7 is justice.
Obviously, the photograph building, and this is for an advanced competition, I would say that I'd like to see a little bit more creativity put into how this building is photographed and when. It's much prettier when it's done, when the lights are on and it's darker outside. Also on this image, really be careful because I see that you have you being the artist has some spots on their sensor. And so you need to really want to clean your sensor. And and now that you know they're there, they're going to come back every now and again and watch your images for them and make sure you edit them out of your images when you do have them. So this is out.
Okay, number 7's out. 8 is heron reflections.
You got a great sharp image of this heron hunting in winter, and the reflection is really amazing. The color of the heron pops out from the sort of the brown orangey colors in the background, and it is a heron just standing there as a portrait, but it's really well done. So I think why don't we leave it in for now?
Okay.
I think better images in this competition, but I think it was well captured with the reflection. So we'll leave it for now.
Okay, heron reflections in. Number 9 is one talon eagle.
I love that this eagle is all in focus, and you can actually see the terrified look on the fish's face, which tells a great story. And of course, the eagle looks very determined again. In this image, everything is well exposed. We're not losing in the whites, and the bird is taking up a majority of the frame. Also, if you look around the edges, you see no distracting elements around the edges, and the background significantly blurred out enough to really focus your attention on the bird. So this one, let's put this one in for now.
Okay, number 9 is in for now. Number 10, stitching spider.
I want to like this one because it's a really interesting spider, and the way he does his web is very interesting. But I think the artist missed the focus point because the bricks behind the spider are in focus, and the spider is not. So this one's out.
Okay, number 10 is out. Number 11 is Caton Memorial.
This is a really interesting memorial. You caught the light just beautifully with the matching colors of the decorative grasses and the water fountain and the golden color of the statue. I have a personal opinion about just photographing someone else's art and claiming it as our own artistic endeavor, and then and catching it at just the right light. I don't think it's enough of putting your own personal spin on the artwork of someone else to claim it as yours. And in this one, it actually looks like the statue is cut off at the top, which is another thing that bothers me about it. So this is out.
Okay, number 11 is out. Number 12 is Road to Heaven.
Yeah, this is beautiful. The lighting is just beautiful. The color toning is well done. I love it. It's framed by the yellow, and then as you get in the center, it's blue. All these leading lines of the road and the light shadow, the leaves, the way they point down into the blue area. But then there's nothing there, like nothing in that blue area that would indicate that's heaven, like Road to Heaven, right? So I think between that and this upper right-hand corner that's just a dark triangle, I think had you placed something in there to make me think of that as heaven, I think that would have completed the story. But without that, this will be out.
Okay, number 12 is out. Number 13 is Reaching to the Moon.
I think this goes along with the comment on artwork. I think putting the moon right at the top of the fountain isn't enough of a artistic. The photographer's actually artistic point of view on this fountain. So this will be out.
Okay, number 13 is out. Number 14 is Friendship Rose.
Part of photography is making sure we pick a very good subject, and a yellow rose is beautiful and a good subject normally, but this one looks like it's done. It really sort of takes away from the picture. If you can go in and edit it so that all the black and dying spots, and unless you're doing like a series of dying flowers, then maybe it would be acceptable. But here's where, again, we want the artist to take out what they don't want to be seen. Select a subject that is in better shape than this particular rose. The sprayed drops look pretty good. They're a little bit out of focus. So you might need to do after you pick a rose that's in a healthier shape, do some focus stacking to get all these little drops and all the edges in focus. But the color of it's really beautiful. So anyway, this one's out.
Okay, number 14 is out. Number 15 is Nectar Lover.
This image is beautifully done. The background is gorgeous. The foreground of the bird is, it's a portrait of a bird, but it shows something that I don't normally see when I see a hummingbird, which is this bird actually drinking out of that tiny flower, and his foot is clinging onto a leaf while his wings are out. And it's just unique to what I've seen, and how sharp it is just really beautifully done. The bird reaching diagonally across the crop is beautiful, and his wings out balanced, or her, I don't know how to tell. And the detail in the tiny flowers that the bird's drinking out of, and the sharpness in the eye, all of this is beautiful. The colors on his back matching the colors of the background. bringing the whole color toning together is also beautifully done. So this one's in.
Okay. Number 15 is in. Number 16, Wasteland.
So I'm not sure if the wasteland, I guess, is referring to the silos and not the sky, but the sky is really competing with the silos in this picture. So it's it's really a gritty picture to show the waste and the clouds are so distracting. It's taking me away from, I think, what the subject is supposed to be, which is the abandoned structures. So I think because the story is a little bit muddled there, this one is out.
Okay, number 16 is out. Number 17, Ms. Mel.
Yeah, I love that the artist chose to just really focus in on as a headshot on this image. And the natural lighting that looks like through blinds just works really well. There's enough detail in her eyes, and the whites of her eyes are bright enough. And the depth of field looks beautiful. Let's keep this one in.
Okay, number 17 is in. Number 18, thatched roof.
Well, I was reviewing this earlier and now again, and I was about this because we have it took me a long time to notice the woman in the picture looking out the window, presumably at the roof. It's interesting. There's a lot of interesting architectural details. I would love it if I could see more of the building and more of the roof, which is the subject of the building.
Okay, number 18 is out.
Yeah.
Okay, number 19 is Thunderhead.
It's beautifully captured with the stars and I even like the darkness of the earth below, and so that's in.
Okay, number 19 is in. Number 20, Rose and Mist.
I don't know if this was actually in Mist or if this is an editing technique, but it's a little bit too looks mostly and not enough detail and lighting contrast on the center of the rose itself. So this portrait of a rose will be out.
Okay, number 20 is out. 21, Cardinal Contemplating.
The bird feeder is what's in focus here instead of the bird, so this one's out.
Okay. Number 21 is out. Number 22 is Scrum.
I love this huddle, and the teams facing off has the energy that is reflected in the colors, as the editor or the artist chose to show them. So this one's in.
Okay, number 22 is in. Number 23 is Far Horizons.
I think this seems to be a little bit underexposed in the lighting, a teeny bit flat. We're missing the brightness in her eyes, and her teeth seem a little bit discolored, and also I would like to see more space in the way she's looking, like in front of her face. So this one's out.
Okay, number 23 is out. Number 24 is twist.
I love this abstract image. I love how the colors work together. The energy of the colors reflect the energy of the twist. So this one's in.
Okay, number 24 is in. Number 25 is hats. Hats off.
I think the story here is a little bit muddled. If it's about the hats, we've cut some of the hats out of the picture on the bottom. But they weigh a lot more. Half the picture has no hats. More than half the picture has no hats in it. So I think if you want this to be about hats, then we need them to fill up the picture. And if you want it to be about the architecture, then we need to scoot around so that we can see the architecture behind the hat. So this one's out.
Okay, number 25 is out. Number 26 is lighted rigging.
I like the blue and the yellow on this one. And when I first see it, I'm like, wow, that's really cool with the reflections and the colors. But I think it's all a little bit blurry, which of course can happen at night. So I totally understand. Also, the balance of the image is a little bit off. There's dark on one side and it's light falling out the other side. And I know that's how that doesn't mean it necessarily makes a great, wall hanging. So this one is out.
Okay, number 26 is out. Number 27, face of antiquity.
I love the idea that you're showing how people used to live in this picture, in this photograph. And I know that you're on a tour and you're limited, but when I see the face of antiquity, I don't want to see the metal walking platform and the electric wires. It would be great if they could, I don't know if it's possible, but it would be really improved if you could see how people lived here or the size of the people that lived here, something in context. But really this metal grate down in the lower corner ruins it for me. So that one's out.
Okay, number 27 is out. Number 28 is Alligator Rock, Patapsco River.
Mm-hmm. That's a cool name for a rock. And it's really interesting. And I look at it and I wonder, wow, how did all those holes get? I mean, what force of water over the years made these holes and not holes elsewhere? There's a lot you can think about this image, but it's at least what I'm seeing sounds good. There is a person in the background, which just looks like a red blob because it's also out of focus. So I think this one's out.
Okay, 28 is out. Number 29, split.
What a beautiful, unique sort of head-on image of the tulip, half a tulip, and I love it, and it stays in.
Okay, number 29 is in. Number 30, who's looking at who?
Who's looking at who? I love the creativity with this image, the color toning, the choice of black and white, the surprised look on the person's face, and the sort of humorous look of the person behind the cell phone. So I think I just really like how creative this image is and sort of a story of the new selfie kind of thing in.
Okay. Number 30 is in. Number 31, walking into the light.
Yeah, this is a great detail. I love the detail of this. Praying mantis, and it looks really fierce. And I don't like the fact that half of him is not lit up. makes it. I'd like to see all of them lit, and just calling it walking into the light. I don't think that makes it for me. I think there's a real opportunity missed of seeing the rest of the detail of him. So this one's out.
Okay, number 31 is out. Number 32, Sandcastle.
I love the leading lines here, like these contours in the sand. You don't think of those as lines, but they're sort of leading to the castle being broken down. The color toning of this makes it look gritty, old, and even the sky is sort of ominous. And the story this tells of the old castle just being run down, this is sort of the whole package of an image, because everything just blends together to give that feeling of abandonment. The composition, the subject, the color, the depth of field, everything. So that one stays in.
Okay, number 32 is in. Number 33 is looking.
The color tone on this is beautiful, and the depth of field is beautiful. We have really sharp feathers, and the eye of that bird, and the bird looking, and you see the claws hanging on, how he's turned back. I mean, it's a portrait of a bird, which for an advanced competition, I would think the bird would be interacting or moving. But it's so well done. I think I'll leave it in for now.
Okay, number 33 is in. Number 34, Church in the Woods.
This is a really creative image that confused me when I look at it, because I think it's taken through glass that's reflecting the woods around it, which is actually really creatively done. Are the leaves maybe brought in? I don't know. Maybe it's a composite of two images. It's really intriguing, artistic, and creative, and the color tones work well together. So I'm going to leave it in.
Okay, number 34 is in. Number 35 is Foggy Morning at the Pier.
For this one, I find the story just to be, I mean, the pier is sharp and the stones are sharp, and you can see is that a beacon or lighthouse at the end? This seems to be more like a documentary sort of picture than artistic. I would like to have seen more of the ocean and the mist rather than this foreground of just pier stones. So I think this one will be out.
Okay, number 35 out.
Yeah.
Number 36 is Safe Landing.
Again, beautifully done. You handled the exposure of the lights really well. Let's leave this in for now.
Okay, number 36 is in. Number 37 is Evolution of Civilization.
37 is very pretty, and there's nothing really wrong with the image, except that it's, again, of someone else's art, and doesn't take a lot of creativity on the photographer's part. So it's more documentary. And I think even though, technically it's well done, I think there are other images in the contest that show a little bit more creativity. So this one will be out.
Okay, number 37 is out. Number 38 is Steamtown.
I like how the steam is captured. It sort of gives the grittiness and the of the engine and the train yard. I think it's an interesting photo, creative, head on, and shows a lot of detail of the engine. So we'll leave it
In, okay.
in. Mm-hmm.
And number 39 is Bridges.
Yeah, this image is just out of focus, so this will be out.
Okay, 38 is out. All right, I think we got through all of those. And let me go through and count how many we have left in to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we have 16 left in, and I think we need just half of those in the final. John, you have them all up now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mary, you can do this either way. You can count your winners first, or throw out 8 and then do it however you want to do it. You let me know.
Okay, let's do some elimination.
Okay.
08 hair and reflection.
Okay.
Was that out?
That's out. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. No, it's okay.
And then the 33 looking, that's out.
Okay, 33 out.
36 safe landing.
Okay.
Let's take that out.
36 out.
Oh man, this is tough. You guys are good. Let's take out 38 Steamtown.
Okay. 38 out. Four more to go.
4 more to go. I was counting. Yeah. Let's take out 06 artistic mailbox.
Okay.
02 sitting pretty.
Okay. Number 2.
Um, 'So I need to take out 2 more.
2 more, yes.
I'm gonna go with hard choice. 34 Church in the Woods.
Okay, 34. Okay. And 1 more.
22 Scrum.
22. Okay. Do you want to start with the honorable mentions? We'll need 4 of those.
Yeah. The 19 Thunderhead.
Okay.
And then 09 One Talon.
Okay, 1 Talon.
Um, 17, and Miss Mel.
Okay, number 17.
And then one more, right?
Yes. 2, 3.
Okay. The 29 split.
29. Okay. All right. Halfway there, and now places 1 through 4.
Okay, I think one will be 24 twist. Number 2 will be 32 sandcastle.
Okay, 32.
Number 3 will be 30 who's looking at who.
Okay, number 3rd.
And then 4 will be 15 nectar lover.
15. Okay, 4th place, number 15. Okay. Well, we give you a run for your money, Mary. That was a lot of work, and I think we have some really good results here. How about if I go through and attach the name to the winners? So in honorable mentions, we have. Bear with me. Number 29 split was John Milliker. Congratulations, John. We also have number 19 Thunderhead, also John Milliker. Congratulations, John. And number 17, honorable mention, Fred Venetia. And then the last honorable mention is number 9, One Talent Eagle, also Fred Venetia. All right, and now let's go through the placers. Number 15 was Nectar Lover. That's J.C. Williams. Number 3, Who's Looking at Who? Number 30, that was Terry Jackson. And second place was Sandcastle, Mike Thomas. And the first place winner this evening is Twist by Bob Weber. Congratulations to all the winners. Nice job. Now, Mary, I want to thank you for working through this. I know we had some technical issues that we were struggling with beforehand, so our apologies for making your job all that more difficult this evening. It's stressful enough
not
as
at all.
it is.
It worked out beautifully.
It did, and you had some really insightful comments on so many of these images, and I really appreciate your taking time, and especially taking a lot of time with the novice images to give some good feedback for folks to consider getting their going back and shooting the picture, or going back and polishing up the image and bringing it back in for another go. So all of that was very helpful. So anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up here this evening?
You have some wonderful photographers, and you guys did beautiful work, all of you. And thank you so much for sharing it with me. Okay. Have a good evening. Okay.
Well, Mary, thank you so much for your comments tonight, and happy trails to you. I hope you have good hiking, and look forward to perhaps seeing you another round here at Rundle Camera Club. So thank you again.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mary.
You too. John, I'll turn it back to you at this point, I guess.
All right. Well, congratulations to all the winners. Please post your winnings onto the Facebook group and tell us a little bit about what you a little bit more about the image and how you captured it, how you edited it, and what you saw when you hit the button on that viewfinder thing that you got on top of your camera. And I think that's it. We're going to end the meeting tonight. Don't forget next week. Christine, what do we have next week?
Next week we have...
Is that the program by Joseph DePascal on the
Yes,
Hubble and
Joseph.
Webb? And I see in your notes you have Hubble telescope, but I also saw something about the Webb. Is he going to talk about the Webb telescope as well?
That I'm aware of, the Hubble is the one he worked on, but I will find out next week.
Okay, I may have been a little rambunctious when I typed it into the stream. An image just came out from the Webb telescope, which was kind of a calibration image, and it's really cool. So if you get a chance, go over to NASA and check that out. But we hope to see you guys next week for our program, and have a good night. We'll see you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.